Hi, my name is Kyle. I'm an engineer and inventor, and this is my very first YouTube video. Usually I enjoy the content out there provided by the maker community within YouTube, and I'd like to utilize this video as a challenge, an open call to arms for all makers everywhere. Please utilize your unique skill sets to help the communities around you. Please continue to create content that can provide meaningful feedback and projects that will help benefit your lives and the lives of the community members around you. We can all pull together to help out with this global crisis. And we as makers understand what it means to be at home and have to make something using limited resources. Let's utilize those skill sets to help our nation and our globe survive its time of need. Thank you so much. Hello friends, my name is Kyle. I'm a local inventor and engineer in the Reno area, Reno, Nevada area. And I ran across a couple of things on my community posts about people needing solutions for sterilization of equipment at home when they're primary caregiver to someone in the high-risk population during this whole virus scare. So I put together some things that I wanted to share online that is a simple kit that you can put together at home, and you can utilize it to sterilize things coming into your home without the use of chemicals or anything like that. We're going to be using light, UVC light. Now with this project comes a brief disclaimer here. UVC light is known for actually attacking things almost at the DNA level. It is used in hospitals and toothbrush sterilizers and a number of different and aquariums and other different utilities around the world, really, for applications. I'm going to show you some basic usages on the simple materials that are easy to get today, so that you can build a light box for yourself that you can utilize as a sterilization chamber. Now I'm going to say with caution here that you should never look into this light. It will cause temporary damage to the cornea if you do look at it for a brief period of time. However, it can cause some minor burns to skin and things of that nature. So one of the first things I'm going to tell you is, no matter what box you decide to put this into, make sure that it is tight for light. So that means that it should be, you cannot see whatever light is inside of it when it's on, okay? That can be a shoe box or something like that. The second thing that you need to know is it needs to be reflective inside. So I'm using this Amazon Basics light box that's often used for pictures. Taking pictures of different things online. You can notice that it's basked in light right now because I have just the simple white light on. I'll turn that off so you can see it better. And then I've gone ahead and put a tray down here, like a cooking tray. This brings up whatever you're going to sterilize off the bottom, so you're also reaching the bottom surface of it as well. Anything will do as far as this is concerned. And my apologies for my messy shop. It's always this way. It's not going to change. For those of you looking over there in the background. But if you do not have a cooking tray or something like that, simply take the item that you put in and put it in for a few minutes and then turn it off, reach in, flip it over, and turn back on the light for a few more minutes, okay? So this is just something to help speed along the process. Any box, anything that you have that you want to utilize this for, could be a cardboard box, could be a shoe box, any one of those things. First thing you want to do is make sure you got a nice reflective surface on the inside. That can be achieved by just simply taping regular printer paper to the inside to create a reflective surface. You can get fancier and put all kinds of reflective tape and things of that nature on there. But what we're trying to do is get the light to bounce around in here and hit every potential surface possible. Okay, so now that we have our box disclosure made, let's go ahead and talk about the lights themselves. One other quick disclaimer, I'm not a regular YouTuber. This is not what I do, so my apologies for poor lighting and bad background material. I'm just trying to get this out as something as more of a public safety and an idea for those that need it. So moving ahead, now we need to talk about our UV light source. So the first thing we're going to need is an inverter that is used to basically transform the input voltage of 12 volts DC. You can see that up here on the top. And we're going to output 900 volts at 50 kilohertz. And the reason we need to do that is we're using these high power fluorescent tubes as my light source. I have two of them here, okay, and they're connected in. Now the nice part about this is that here's your output, and I've just gone ahead and attached these red and white wires. On the output side, it doesn't matter what goes to what, okay? Make sure that you just plug them in. Same thing on the bulb side, and they have these little connectors here on the ends that you can see there, and I've just kind of had stabbed a couple of wires in there. I'll probably put some heat shrink or solder on them later, but from a proof of concept, I'm just kind of showing this off. Okay, that's your little inverter there. I've got a connector that comes into this guy, and then what I've done here, and I'll zoom out on this setup here in a second, is I've connected a couple of wires, and I have things tangled up. I have one of these guys here. These little plugs here on the back side of it, you notice that they just screw in, okay? And what I'm utilizing for my power source is the same power inverter, this light-on power inverter that came with my light box, okay? And it generates 12 volts DC. So typically any 12 volt supply will do. I would suspect that you're gonna have to input at least an amp or output at least an amp to drive this guy. So look for something like 12V 1 amp or 1000 milliamps for your input to drive this guy. And you notice that it has the same bayonet style connector here. So just a second, I need to put on some gear and we will light this up. Okay, I'm back for a second, and I just wanted to show you that this is the light-on power supply that came with the unit. I'm gonna go ahead and plug these in. I don't have my official safety glasses on for this, so I'm wearing just some general safety glasses. I'm gonna turn it on for a brief minute because I don't want to damage my own eyes, but just to kind of show you the contrast and brightness against this black surface. And then we'll go ahead and put it in the box and I'll show you how it works. So plugging those in, you can see the kind of light and glow, and you can actually smell a little ozone or O3 coming off. Then you know they're working correctly. I'm gonna unplug that. And now it's just a simple process of, in this particular light box, we have a hole for a camera. And I can pull this back and I can simply just take these two items here and put them right down in there. And with my light box setup, I also have the ability to go ahead and plug this end in to the light box so that I can see it. So I can use both sets of lights, but for right now, we're just gonna plug in the one. So once I do that, I can then take this and zip this shut as I drag my wires along for the ride. Just to close off the light. And now when I plug in, the box inside is seeing the light. And I'll go ahead and I'll remote the camera and show you a view of that next. Okay, I've plugged it in. Let's take a look. So this is what the inside of our sterilization chamber looks like. I've got the two bulbs in there. And for example purposes, I've got the phone here. Now, in typical operation, folks, do not open this up. Do not look at the light. Don't do anything that I'm doing here. It can cause harm. So just as a review, my power is going to come in on this connector here. It's going to go through this transformer here, this transformer inverter, and we're going to create light out on these sides here. Okay, we're back, and this is effectively what the inside of my light box is looking like right now. I've got one light, two lights in here, and I can already smell the ozone coming off of there. So I know something's going on. And if I were to leave that in there for about 10 minutes or so, it'd be perfectly sterilized. So again, this is all put together using the Amazon Basics stuff. This is the plug here that I'm using. Normally you would plug into the side right here for the light that is built into the unit. And I'm just kind of replacing that with my own light. So feel free to send questions, post things down in the comments below. Let me know what could be done better. Let me know what materials you can find, and maybe we can suggest how to cobble them up together so that you can make your own sterilization source. Thank you. A couple last notes. I know that many of you aren't going to know much about how to wire things appropriately, and please don't use this by any means as an example of correct wiring on how something should be permanently connected. These wire connections are simply slipped through the ends of the connectors. For a more permanent connection, I would certainly solder these or at least provide some level of electrical tape or isolation at the endpoints just to make sure that the connection's made well. Also consider, if you are going to go ahead and permanently install these, to loop them around, create a stress relief on the wire itself by looping it, and maybe zip tying this point or using just a bread tie or something of that nature to go ahead and secure it there. That leaves the dangly bits from coming apart when stressed. Also consider taping these to the inside on a fixed location or hanging them using fishing line or something similar. So for further information, please look at other YouTube videos on how to correctly put together wiring, and there's a lot of examples out there on how to do that using limited resources around you. Finally, please respect all the safety disclaimers within the video. I don't want anybody to get hurt by putting something like this together, and I certainly don't want anybody to burn down their house due to improper wiring techniques. So please take heed, and where you can, build something like this yourself, or for yourself, or for someone in your community that may need it around you.